thewellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives. This is Up for a Chat with Cyndi O'Meara, Carren Smith, and Kim Morrison.
Here we are, up for a chat about the hottest topics that are important to you, inspiring you to awaken the change within. I'm Carren Smith.
I'm Kim Morrison.
And I'm Cyndi O'Meara.
And welcome to today's very, very special podcast. We have somebody joining us here on the show today who's very, very special to our Kimmy, because when Kim was going through her own personal, I guess we can call it transformation time, she turned to a particular woman who really supported her through her journey with Danny and her family. And it was nothing short of immense, and it was nothing short of transformational and transcendental almost, in terms of the way that Kim found herself and rediscovered who she was, and Danny discovered who he was, and the family went to a completely new dimension of love and connectedness. And they did that with the exceptional help of a wonderful, wonderful woman, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for joining us here on the podcast today. What a treat to have you with us.
Nothing's happening here.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all on record. Welcome. Kim, you've got a whole world of experience with this incredible woman. Start us off. Start the questions. Go for it.
Well,
Tell everybody.
I think to preempt it, what one has to understand about Jacqueline is she is not someone who wants to be self-promoted, or she's in fact feeling very uncomfortable about us interviewing her, because she believes, or what she's taught me, is that everything is within. And I think the gift that you've given me is through trials we can have that opportunity to find ourselves. And I will never forget the first time I came to you. You said to me, Jacqueline, that life is perfect. And what I wanted to ask you, and why I've been so excited about interviewing you, is I just want people to hear your wisdom, just to hear the way you view things. So first of all, I would just love to ask you where you're from and how you yourself got onto the journey of your own self-discovery.
Okay. I was born in France. I was brought up as a French woman. And but of course I had a very mixed family with a British mother and other origins, but French, very French. I studied a lot when I was young. It was during the war. I had to stay at home and do a lot of studying and reading. And I was always searching for the truth, because I read a statement from one of the Hindu writings, I can't remember, they said, doesn't matter, the Kama Sutra, that's right, from the Kama Sutra, that truth is like a diamond, it has many facets. And that really prompted me to go on the search for truth, even though quite often I would lose the plot, fall down on my search for the truth as I was climbing Mount Everest. Well, not really, but sort of. And occasionally tripping and falling down into crevices, but picking myself up or finding somebody who would pull me out of the crevice. And eventually I got to the top and I found the truth, I think, I hope. But I'm still searching for it, really, to be honest. Now, what I did, I went to India after I had migrated to Australia, and I met Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, and I was absolutely flummoxed by the incredible love energy emanating from this person. And to me, that was the answer to everything, love. And his name was, he's dead now, Satya, which means truth. And I didn't realize at the time that I had found a truth. but it's only later that I realized that I did with his name. Now, I became a psychologist not by choice, but I was forced into it. Again, after having challenged God, saying to him that I would find him through my studies. And that was a long story too, much too long to report or to record now. I had to go to university. I wanted to go to keep on studying art, painting, because I was an artist. And I couldn't find a course that satisfied my needs. At the time I was living in the Blue Mountains with my husband and children. So eventually I decided to go to Macquarie University because I couldn't go to Sydney. The art course was closed. And then I studied and I met different people. I had different experiences, quite extraordinary. And then I joined Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings and school. But after 2 years of doing this type of yoga, I found that that wasn't sufficient for me. And then eventually I came to find the Sai Baba. So there was no doubt that my studies had forced me onto that path. And I had to become a psychologist because that's where I was forced to go into. It wasn't, as I said, it wasn't my choice, but I was forced into it. And so there I was as a psychologist working for the state of New South Wales at the time. And eventually I went to work with St. John of God Hospital near Richmond as a psychologist again. I'm mentioning this because there are some extraordinary events that took place at the time. So working as a psychologist and visiting Sai Baba, one day I was sitting at his feet in the group, in the interview room. I was very fortunate to be in the front row for once. Usually I wasn't. And Sai Baba looked down at me and said, "And what do you want?" So I said to him, "Swami, I need strength for my patients." That was in about 1982. So he said, "You want strength, Swami give you strength." And his hand went forward towards me, just above my nose, and swirled around, and underneath his hand suddenly appeared a silver bracelet with the name Sai on it. And I have always worn this, and I have to say, I can only think that it gave me the strength that I needed. I'm past 90 now, and I'm still working. It was quite extraordinary. But there's another story that I would like to share with you, because it always has to do with this, incredible belief that we have in ourselves. Sai Baba always said, look, if you call to God for help, God means universal consciousness, of course. I'm sure that you know what that means. Brahma in Hindu. It's not a person. He said, if you call for the help, it will come to you. Okay, right. But this is what he taught. Okay, this particular day, I was at work. I had been at work, and I was leaving. Now, the St. John of God Hospital was down in the plain. We were living in Springwood in the Blue Mountains, and I had to go down the mountain in order to go to Richmond first, and from Richmond go to the hospital. So I had to follow the Springwood Road along the Hawkesbury River. I don't know if you know about that.
I used to live in Windsor. Yeah, I used to live in Windsor, and my my ex-mother-in-law used to work at St. John of God Hospital. She was a registered nurse. Yeah.
What was her name?
Oh, I'll tell you off air.
Okay. Okay, so I used to drive down and follow this road, a country road. In those days, it was 100 kilometers an hour. I don't know what it's like now. Only 2 lanes. with just on the sides, just earth, and then pastures and forests and so on, all along the road, sometimes the occasional house, but very few. It was all country. And this particular day, I was coming home from St. John of God, and I entered the Springwood Road to go home, and I started driving at my 100 kilometers an hour, happily, with quite a few cars behind me, but none in front of me. And there I was, driving nearly 100 kilometers an hour, and I came to a bend, a right-hand bend. When I got to the point of the bend, well, I couldn't see what was on the other side of the bend, but when I got to the point of the bend, I saw, to my horror, about 2 or 3 meters from my car, a row of cows crossing the road. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen cows crossing a road, but they are not one behind the other. They're close to each other. And there was absolutely no way that I could avoid the cows. No way whatsoever. I couldn't even go to the side. Well, one side the cows were coming along from the field onto the road. The other side they were crossing over to another field. No way. And I lost total control of my left hemisphere. I couldn't think how to get out of this. I didn't, as a matter of fact, because that was the end as far as I was concerned, but I was concerned about the cows. So I screamed, Krishna, because Krishna, I don't know if you know about Krishna, he was a cow herder. I don't know why, it just came to me, Krishna. And the next minute I found myself on the other side of the cows, driving up to the Blue Mountains. Couldn't understand it. How did I avoid the cows? I got home, I didn't even tell my husband because I thought he'll think I'm mad. The next day I went out into the garden and picked up the local rag, and there was an article on the 3rd page saying that the day before a cow had been killed on the road.
Oh my God.
Road. I said, my God, did I do that? So I rushed out to my car, had a good look all over it. There was no trace of having hit anything. But I would have felt it. But I didn't. Now, okay, I'm not the only one to have had an experience like that. It is in a book titled My Baba and I by Dr. John Hislop. He had a very similar experience, not with cows, but with cars. One moment on one side, next moment on the other one. He was a Sai Baba devotee also. Okay.
You know, it's very interesting that you tell that story, Jacqueline, because I have a story similar. When I was in the 2002 Bali bombing, I was running from the flames, and there's a period where I ran up to a brick wall, and I remember as I was approaching the brick wall saying, please, God, don't let me run into a brick wall. Please don't let me run into a brick wall. Don't want to run into a brick wall. Don't let me run into a brick wall. And I ran into a brick wall. And I've been hypnotized, and I've tried to recall the experience myself, but there's nothing there. So I remember seeing this big red brick wall that was just, there was no way that I could get over it. And when I saw the brick wall, my next experience is of me standing on top of it, jumping off it. And I have no idea how I got to the top of that brick wall. I have no recollection of how I got to that. And I was the only one. But when I was running to the brick wall, there was about 10 others all running in the same direction. But getting to the top of it, I have absolutely nothing. And then the next thing I know, I'm jumping off it, and and
you called for help.
Absolutely, I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely, I did. And that's not something that I share. Well, I don't share that publicly. I don't share that story publicly.
Good.
Because there's no explanation for it, and I think people really want an explanation, but there isn't one.
Okay, so what is that
similar
to you?
What
is that saying to you?
There are forces at play that are far grander.
Well, the thing is that, okay, we're composed of a body, a mind, and a higher self. Now, this higher self is the energy at the center of every atom in our system. Call it God, call it Brahma, call it what you like. It is how could I explain it? The overwhelming superior consciousness. We have different levels of consciousness. And this is a thing that we have to realize. And we need to pass around us to people to make them realize that we are not the body. Okay? We are not the mind. And with mind, it has to be controlled. It's like a mad monkey that's been bitten by a scorpion. We've got to control our mind. But more than anything else, we have to realize whom we truly are, which is this overriding superconsciousness which makes us one. There's no difference between you and me, and you and everybody else. Once we reach that level of superconsciousness, we can change the world. Now, I'm sure you've read the Bible, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the story of Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah?
Mm.
Well, you know it, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Sodom and Gomorrah. What does sodomizing mean? What does sodomizing mean? It's not a very nice activity, is it?
No, it's with animals.
So
isn't it?
the people in Sodom and Gomorrah were behaving very badly.
I just got told what it was. I didn't know.
So they were behaving very badly. But Lot was a very devoted man. And he had a wife, by the way, and daughters. But one day God said to him, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because of the behavior of the people there. And so Lot said, please, Lord, please don't destroy them. I beg you. What can I do? So God said to him, find, 20 wise men, or I can't remember, a small number, perhaps even 10 wise men, and I won't destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. So Lot went hunting around for 10 wise men and couldn't find them. He went back to God and he said, Lord, I can't find them. So God said, all right, find 5 wise men. And so Lot went and hunted for them, couldn't find them. So God said, all right, I'm going to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. Go away, leave them. So Lot left Sodom and Gomorrah, and God destroyed them. Okay, now what do you think that means? If a whole society is misbehaving, and there's just a minimal number who, for whatever reason, are wise and live according to principles, and good principles, they can save society. And this is my interpretation, this is what I think, is that we have a duty to change ourselves so as to help the world change. You know about the 100th monkey, don't you? Mm-hmm. You know the story of the 100th monkey?
No, in Japan. The 100th monkey.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you tell the story.
Well, there were monkeys on this island, and there were potatoes that were thrown onto the beaches of the island. And the potatoes would be covered in sand, and the monkeys would try and eat the potatoes, but there was sand covered. Right. And one day, one monkey figured out that he could take it to the water and wash it and eat it. And they don't know the exact number, but there was a consciousness that happened.
So this is a true story?
This is a true story.
Right.
So there was a consciousness that happened by the time the 100th monkey had washed the potato and eaten it, gotten rid of all the sand, and then the consciousness spread, and every monkey, without being told, that it was just a consciousness, started to wash their potatoes and eat them.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So it was a consciousness.
Because of this higher level of consciousness, we can communicate with the whole of humanity. Now, what is the tool that we can use to do that? Now, come on, you know what it is?
Our higher self.
What is the tool?
What is the tool?
What is that marvelous tool?
Meditation?
No. What is that wonderful tool we have?
Speech?
No.
No? Love?
Love.
Ah, well done, Kimmy. Love.
Exactly. Love is the healer. Now, we're not talking about gut love. We're not talking about the so-called love that we think we have in, well, you know, for sex or whatever, or even attachment. It's not attachment. It's not love for one's family or whatever. It is an energy that comes from the fourth chakra. It's in there. And we have to go in and discover this energy in our fourth chakra. Now, this go in, that's another story. I was at the ashram, outside the temple, and large group of people, women on one side, men on the other. Sai Baba would come out, and he would start walking along, and people would talk to him and ask him for whatever they wanted to ask him for. And as he was walking past me, I was in the second row, I said, Swami, I'm going tomorrow. I was leaving the ashram tomorrow. I had to go back. And Swami didn't stop. He just went on walking. And then about 10 steps further down, perhaps a bit more, he stopped, turned around. It was more than 10 steps. He turned around and very loudly pointed to me, and he said, go in. I looked at everybody around me. What does he mean by that? And, well, he said, go in. And he's been telling us all the time, go in. Go into here, into your true self. Find this wonderful energy called love in here. Now, you see on the wall the autonomic nervous system image. Well, it's just very simplified. But you will notice that at the level of the heart chakra, there's a very thick, dense bundle of nerves and cells. The heart chakra is very important. We have to keep it activated all the time. And this is what I work on day in, day out. I muscle test people, as you know, to find out where they have blockages in their system, and I unblock them, and in order to eventually get them to allow this wonderful energy, this wonderful consciousness that is within us to manifest itself. First of all through yourself. First you have to learn to love yourself, by the way.
And how do we do that?
It's very simple.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You just let go of fear. Course in Miracles? Do you know the Course in Miracles?
Yes.
Love is letting go of fear. Look at that wonderful saying here. I want peace. I is ego, want is desire, remove ego and desire, and you have peace. Once you stop behaving like animals, because we are not animals, we are human beings. Once we stop behaving like animals, become angry, greedy, jealous, whatever, then we can develop, we can realize that we are love itself. And unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to teach you the light meditation, did I? Oh, I did, did I? Oh, good. Well, that's what it is, the light meditation. Seeing the light inside you, spreading it all through yourself, and then outside yourself, through the top of the head, and spreading it to everyone around you. Now, lately, there has been a realization that love is the healer. There are wonderful articles on the internet about love healing cancer. Love is the healer. Just spread love within you, spread love outside you. Nothing can go wrong.
You know, it's interesting, for a lot of humanity, I think a lot of us want to, or we're in search of, a sense of completion, a sense of happiness, a sense of connectedness, and we think that we need to get something, we need to do something other than what we're doing. But I think that the simplicity of what you're saying, Jacqueline, and also the simplicity of the Course in Miracles is that there's nothing more to get. All that there is to remove the blocks to love's presence.
Exactly.
And all that actually is left when we remove all of those blocks is love, nothing other than
Absolutely.
that. And then there's the awareness of love's presence and the consciousness of love's presence. And then that's the end of the story.
There you are, you know it. Of course it is. That's right. So, love all, serve all, help ever, hurt never. And the 5 human values, truth. Always tell the truth to yourself and to others, but never a truth that hurts. Okay? Then, right conduct. Always do the right thing. If you live in a country with certain rules and laws, you follow them. After all, why not? What's the problem about following the rules? And any other rules, moral rules or whatever. And then peace. Well, I've just shown you peace. I want peace. Get rid of ego and desire, and you have peace, of course. Simple, isn't it? And then love, of course. Love, this wonderful energy. We are love.
That's all there is.
It's this incredible energy, which it is an energy. It is, even from a scientific point of view, what is it that attracts atoms to each other? Love. What else?
And it's true, isn't it? I mean, what attracts one person to another? What attracts one friend to another? That's actually true, isn't it?
It's love.
And what repels is fear. So the opposite of love is not hate, it's fear. You know, Jacqueline, you were saying, I want peace, and I is the ego and want is the desire. It's amazing that it's the belief that we are separate from each other, and it's the belief that we are not one, that there is this separation.
Yes.
That then causes desire, because
That's
if I'm
right.
separate from you, then I want what you have, or I want something other than,
That's right.
you know, I
Yes.
want other things,
Sure.
and it's the seat of all suffering.
That's right.
And that is that the belief of separation and the desire is not something that needs to be changed. It just needs to be acknowledged that it's not actually real, because all that there really is underneath all of that is love.
You see, the problem is that we keep on identifying with our body and our minds. We think we are the body, we think we are the mind. This is what creates these dissensions, these separations and so on. But if we keep on focusing on what we can call our true self, which is there, go in, then we don't feel the difference. We can feel we can become aware of this how should I say, this divinity in every person. Even the worst people, even the criminals, even the terrorists, God is still inside them.
That's a big question, and I'm so glad that you've brought that up, because that's been something that I've even been floating with myself of late, is to go in, for a lot of people who are externally focused, and most of society is, that's challenging for most people to go in. How do you go in? What's the way in?
Oh, I do that every day.
What's the way in that then allows people...
Letting go the fear.
So how does somebody...
Sometimes people can't go in because they have armored themselves because of their fears, because of traumas. So we have to work on it. It doesn't happen overnight, of course. There is a lot of hard work, but different ways of doing it. I mean, if you belong to a religion, usually, if the religion is well established, well, good religion, that can help you. Well, If not, well, you just have to, there are different ways. I mean, there are many, many ways to go up to the top of Mount Everest, I can assure you.
Many religions are based on fear, though.
And they're also externally focused.
Many religions are based on fear. Yeah. Like what I was brought up was Catholicism, and
you were brought up
as a Catholic.
As a Catholic, that's right.
And it was all based on fear.
That's right.
The fear of God.
That's right. Because, well, why do you think that was so? I mean, Jesus didn't teach that.
No.
You know what Jesus said? Did you ever read John?
Yes, many years ago, but
well,
I have no memory of John now.
In John, Jesus said, "My Father and I are one. You are my brothers." Now, what did that mean? My Father and I are one. Father is this all-encompassing consciousness, Brahma, okay? We are one with Brahma, with the all-encompassing consciousness. So Jesus said, well, you're my brothers, which means that you're one with our Father. Now, that's the first step. Then he said, and remember, I told you, ye are gods. Aha.
Wow, he says that in John. They must have missed that in the Catholic Church.
Yes. I was partly brought up as a Catholic. I went to the nuns and so on, and of course I had to read the Gospel every week and learn it by heart because it was going to be recited in the pulpit and so on. And never, ever, ever have I come across this statement by John, John from John's Gospel. But it's there. Read it.
Yeah.
Even if any of the Gospels, in any of the Bibles.
And why would the Catholic Church take that out?
Indeed. Read the history of the Catholic Church. It's worth reading.
Yeah.
And I think too, I think everything, as time has evolved, there's been a necessity or a belief that there's a necessity to control the masses. So if we can control the masses with fear, and if we can control the masses with the belief that that God is outside of them, then we're in a constant state of believing that we are less than. And
Isn't she smart?
Pardon?
Isn't she amazing?
Oh, she's very wise.
She's very
wonderful.
Wise.
You're right, absolutely.
I feel very humbled in your company, I have to be very honest.
That's right. How does one have power over other people? By instilling fear in them. Mm-hmm. So if you keep on telling people that if they do something wrong, they'll go to hell, I have, with patients, especially if they're Catholics, I'll muscle test them. And I'm frightened of God, yes. I'm frightened of the devil, yes. I'm frightened of going to hell, yes.
Purgatory. Limbo. All the places that we can go as Catholics, it's like we're scared of the whole lot of them because, except for heaven.
That's right.
We're okay with heaven.
That's right.
But then there's the fear of not making it to heaven.
Yeah, I was going to say, then you've got to be really good.
Oh, no sinning anyway.
I'm so glad I had no religious upbringing when I hear you guys talk like this. Jacqueline, you say you're 90 and you're still searching. How? Well, you're still working on the truth. What does that mean?
Look, I'm a mother. I have 4 sons. Okay. So when something happens to my sons, I start becoming upset. So I'm learning, I have to learn not to become upset, but to keep on resorting to this wonderful energy. And I did, the other night, I had the realization of it suddenly. It was incredible, the peace that came out of it. So it's a matter of working hard on connecting with this superior consciousness. Did I teach you the Who Am I?
Yes.
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 Do you do it?
Yes.
Oh. Who am
I don't think I'm very good at it sometimes.
What is it? What is it?
Tell
What
us
is
what
it?
it
Tell
is.
us.
You explain.
Tell us, what is that? Explain that.
Oh, who am I? Well, I'll have to give you a copy of it before we leave.
Oh, okay, that sounds good.
It's a very old, very ancient meditation. I think it's from a Maharshi who gave described it, and I
Tweaked it.
adapted it for our culture. But the thing is that once you let go your fears, you see, I have fear as a mother, of course. If my children, if my boys are suffering, have problems and so on, well, they're not young anymore, but so they go through all sorts of trials and tribulations. And there I am feeling really uptight. But the other night, this incredible peace that came, oh, it was wonderful. And then what I did was try and transfer it to this particular son who's having difficulties at the moment. I don't know, perhaps it's gone through to him. But this is what I'm trying to say, that as long as we are in this body, we have attachments, and we have to work on that. Now, not being attached doesn't mean not caring, far from it, but we have to care the right way. And I think it is definitely this connecting with this incredible energy which is our true self and transferring it all around us. Have you ever read books on near-death experiences? I'm reading one by Dr. Jeffrey Long at the moment, and it's quite incredible because very serious studies have been carried out on near-death experiences. And when you look at this accumulation of cases, especially by Dr. Jeffrey Long, it's worth reading because he's done a very, very, very thorough research, years and years of research. I'll show you the book afterwards. Dr. Jeffrey Long, J.E. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love reading them.
Yes. Okay, I'll show you the book. And because of the incredible number of people that they have interviewed who've had this near-death experience. And it's quite amazing. And everybody had the same experience. Amazing. So it's worth reading.
Jacqueline, you were talking about the 5 values, and I have that picture on my wall. And the last one, you've mentioned truth, right conduct, peace and love. And the last one is non-violence. And when I first started coming to see you, I used to stick these pictures up around my house saying, speak softly. Because one of the things that you taught me was even raising our voices as a form of violence.
Exactly.
And my children were very little when I first started coming to see you, and they just saw these signs everywhere. In fact, one of them couldn't even read properly yet. But if I ever raised my voice, he would point to the sign.
Yes.
And it's taught me a lot. I'm not saying I do it perfectly right all the time, but it made me very aware of what it means to communicate without violence.
Exactly.
So in our world, we see violence maybe as anger and fist punching, but in fact, violence can be in the form of self-hate or
Absolutely.
in the form of not accepting another.
That's right.
And I've shared this story many times because your words, and I know you're a reflection of what's in me, and I know you don't ever want to see yourself as a guru, but your words helped me maybe see the guru in me, which was I sat there in agony. My heart was broken. My husband's heart was broken. My children's hearts were broken. And you sat there and you said, well, Kim, do you love this man? And I said, yes. And you said, Danny, do you love this woman? And he said, yes. And you said, well, we have no problem. When there is love, there is no problem. And it's whenever I hear you speak, and it's you are my top-up, your words, your values, and being around people like Carren, who has read a lot of the information that you have read, is a constant reminder of what that is in here. Would you mind if I shared with our listeners Who Am I meditation, the heart meditation and the light meditation.
Absolutely, you have to.
Yes.
I'll give you some printouts
Yes.
that might help you to a certain extent.
Will they help me every day, Jacqueline?
Well, of course, everybody should do the light meditation. This is what nowadays I give this regularly to all my patients, and I say, look, do it every day, regularly. Absolutely, the light, it's called the Jyoti meditation, the light meditation. It's absolutely wonderful, because if you spread that light outside you, you spread it into every human being, every animal, whatever, every part of the world, the planets, the sun, the stars, and so on. And I muscle test people after having got them to do the light meditation, and I get them to say, I am the light of the world. Yes!
Beautiful.
We were talking about the 100th monkey
Yes.
and the consciousness.
Oh, yes.
In your time on this planet, do you think that consciousness is about to turn?
It has to. You know why?
Well, we'll destroy ourselves.
That's right. Now, look, this is a very interesting thing I came across. Look, okay, occasionally I treat homosexuals. Now, there are quite a lot of homosexual people these days. And I have a couple, a male couple. They are wonderful people. Oh, well, I better... Okay.
We know.
Wonderful. And I said to myself, there must be a reason for this. So I did research. I read. I studied. My sister was a homosexual. My maternal uncle was homosexual. My very first male friend, not boyfriend, but male friend, because I was brought up in a very strict way, just to girls. We didn't mix with boys. But anyway, when I started my art classes in Paris, we were mixed, of course, and there was a young man there, and we made friends, and he was a homosexual. They were lovely people. Okay. And I said to myself, there must be a reason for it, especially with the increase that we're coming across at the moment. Mm. And, of course, you're aware of the Darwinian concepts of evolution. It's more or less accidental. But if you read Sir Alister Hardy, Sir Alister, A-L-I-S-T-E-R, Hardy, he believed in evolution, but not the Darwinian way. From his point of view, the evolution that takes place on this earth is guided by a need to change. It's a, how could I explain it? I mean, you'd have to read the book, because it's quite amazing that we evolve in such a way that it serves the purpose of what we are as human beings. Now, there's an overpopulation at the moment, isn't there? Mm. The only way to stop the overpopulation is to stop populating. Mm. Now, how does one stop populating?
Well, by not having sex.
Become a Buddhist.
Yes, no, it's not everybody who can become a Buddhist. But as you said, stop having sex. But
or have sex with people that can't recreate.
But what happens when people don't have sex? They become very frustrated, don't they? Mm. And yet, if you study the yogic philosophy, I mean, yoga means joining with God. That's what yoga means. You will find that you can transfer this activity in the second chakra, the first and second chakra, to the fourth chakra. I mean, if you do it properly. But it's not everybody who has the power to do that. So what's another way to stop having sex in order to populate?
Homosexuality.
Homosexuality. Once we realize that, then of course, and once homosexuals realize that, they realize then that they have a role to play, and they can do a lot of good to humanity. But anyway, this is another subject,
Well, that's raising the consciousness. So that was about raising the consciousness of people, and that things are changing. And
no, it's not a raising of consciousness. It's I don't know. It's difficult to say.
Probably more of with Hardy's view, it's a meeting of consciousness more, in that the evolution of humanity
the need
demanding.
isn't there anymore. You see.
Yeah.
You see, now look, as Sai Baba says, animals have a time and a season for sex, don't they? Mm-hmm. You agree? Mm-hmm. Human beings have neither rhyme nor reason for sex. So how do they... I mean, if they didn't enjoy sex, what would happen? There would be no human beings. So in order to have sex, they have to enjoy it, the orgasm. All right? So the thing is to either do yoga and transfer this energy up the spine, or be lucky enough and not be attracted to the other sex. Simple, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that being simple.
Have you seen my husband? Jacqueline, do you think, as far as those of us that are parents are concerned, what's one of the greatest lessons or teachings or way of behaving that we can be to support our future generations?
Love. Do you know that there is a school, the Sai Baba school at Mawulumba?
Mawulumba?
Oh, I'll show it to you on the internet in a minute.
Mawulumba?
Yes,
down the top
marvellous school.
New South Wales.
The Sai Baba school.
So we can, I mean, one of the greatest gifts we can give our children is the love and respect of another human being.
To love, yes. To love, to always do the right thing.
And follow the five
values.
the
5 values. That's right. I'll show it to you anyway. A wonderful program.
And what do you think, what is the most common problem that you have people coming to see you as a psychologist? What is one of the most common things happening out there at the moment?
Feeling unloved.
Wow.
And you know what? It goes back to very, very early childhood, babyhood. If they haven't been breastfed, or if the breastfeeding has been too short, if they're too close to other siblings in birth date, if the parents are not together or are fighting, whatever, there's a multitude of reasons. And so they grow up feeling unloved. And so I always test people for, when I muscle test people, I get them initially, always. Muscle testing, I like myself, I love myself, I trust myself, I respect myself, I have full confidence in myself, I have faith in myself, I believe in myself, I am God. Oh, muscle test strong. No, that's a funny one. And then I get them to say, I'm good enough for my dad, I'm good enough for my mum, I feel loved by my dad, I feel loved by my mum. Boom, boom, boom.
So you muscle
to
test to
that.
find... You use muscle testing to find the unconscious...
Yeah. The body
because
is...
the person may not
The
necessarily
body
know.
is the subconscious mind. As simple as that.
Yeah.
And so once I have established, and then I muscle test the chakras. Very often the 4th chakra is weak, or the whole lot is weak. And then we have to work on this lack of love.
It's interesting because when I started coming to see you, I wanted to work on the problems which weren't about me.
No,
No, they were about everyone else.
that's right.
And what I learned very quickly with you was actually there was no one else to change. There was no one else to do the work. There was only
Change yourself,
myself.
and the whole world changes with you. Exactly.
And I'm still a whip.
What's a whip?
I beg pardon?
I'm still a work in progress.
Aren't we a work in progress till the day we die?
Yes, of course.
Because here you are 90 and you're still
But I'm
searching,
still working on
learning.
myself.
Yeah.
Oh yes, oh yes.
I was hoping by the time I got to 90 I'd be okay.
I would have arrived.
I watch my ego a lot. Believe me.
Jacqueline, you told the story at the end of last year. You had to have an operation,
Oh yes.
and you were in hospital.
yes.
And I just love your story about watching everybody in the hospital. Can you just explain to us your because I think it's a wonderful metaphor for humanity. Could you just explain what you saw when you were in the hospital? And it was around Christmas and New Year.
Yes, it was. Well, what I saw was a multitude of things. I was watching the staff and the way they were working very devoted. Actually, Nambour Hospital is a very good hospital. Very, very good. But also the patients, and there was a woman in front of me, and she wanted attention all the time. So during the night, she'd wake up and she'd start crying, and so that the nursing staff would come and give her attention. It was very funny.
I can just imagine being a psychologist in hospital must be just fascinating. But yes.
But anyway, it was interesting. It was interesting to see the devotion of the staff, the way they were good. They were really good. Oh well.
But I think what, some people would say, oh, it's not fair, I'm in hospital, but the way you just looked at it, it just is. You don't seem to have an attachment to any stories. And one thing that I've noticed with your patients and with the people that come to you, you're not interested almost in the story. You're interested in their discovery of self.
Well, naturally, of course, this is.
But most
important
people
thing.
come because they're attached to their story, and they want you to verify their story, and they want validity with their story.
Well, yes, but I mean, it's not the. Wait a minute.
It's not the truth, really. Because the
It's
story,
the perspective.
yeah, because the story is what they're holding on to. That's keeping them trapped in the pain and
Course in
suffering, isn't it?
Miracles.
I am not a victim of the world I see. These are all cards that Jacqueline's holding up for us to read.
Friedrich Nietzsche. There are no facts, only interpretations. We did a podcast on that, didn't we?
Yeah. Yesterday never happened. Today is an illusion. Tomorrow never comes. Ooh.
There is only this.
And now this.
If you point one finger at someone, remember that 3 fingers are pointing at you.
And this is very funny. I
I
that
love
one.
this one.
All right. When two people are under the influence of the most violent, most insane, most delusive, and most transient of all passions, they are required to swear that they will remain in that excited, abnormal, and exhausting condition continuously until death do them part. George Bernard Shaw.
That's around marriage. I
Yes,
love
that's
that.
right.
I love it. And I often show couples when I'm marrying them, I will pull out this quote and show them, and they're like,
Oh,
looking
do
at me
you?
going,
And what
yes.
happens? What did it say?
Or at first they look at it like, oh, what do you mean? We're going to feel like this forever.
Falling in love, quickly, falling. You know what falling in love is about?
Tell us.
Okay.
The term falling
It is
is a little frightening.
Projecting an ideal parent figure onto the person you supposedly fall in love with.
Wow. Projecting an ideal parent figure onto the person you're apparently falling in love with.
Well, falling in love, actually, falling is a good description because it's going into a state of subconsciousness. It's like a trance state. So you see in perhaps the eyes of the other person or expressions or whatever, an ideal parent figure. You see, well, if you're women, you see your father. If you're men, you see your mother, or differently. But there is something in the other person that reminds you of your ideal parental figure. Because even if your parent hasn't been ideal, there is something about this parent that as a very, very small child attracted you and you felt loved. So this is what you project onto somebody you fall in love with. But gradually, this ideal parental figure, divine parental figure, falls off the pedestal and you realize that it's a human being.
I think there's
fall
also,
out of love.
but I think there's also a reality about parents too. You reach a certain age, and I'm only just starting to discover this at my age now, and I'm nearly 45, is that my parents are actually human beings. I never saw that either. I never thought my mum was a real person.
Have you fallen in love?
Yes. Yes. And now I see them as a real person, because, but I never realised my dad was a real person. I never realised my mum was a real person. I thought they were superheroes.
Exactly.
And it's amazing that I looked at Matt and past partners, and I'm just kind of really seeing myself in what you've just said. Because when I looked at Matt, he's the knight in shining armour. He's my superhero. He came and swept me off my feet and rescued me. And
Carren, you're lovely.
We love her too.
And it's a beautiful thing because it's, now that I'm seeing Matt, my partner now, as this real person, I'm also seeing my dad as a real person, not the superhero that I thought that he was. And my mum, I'm thinking, wow, you're actually just a normal person. And I actually have had a fight with myself about that, where I've said, no, my mum is not a real person. She's my mum. She's perfection personified. That's what she is.
Jacqueline, you are an incredible soul, and I feel so privileged that we were able to just have this little.
Do you remember what
moment
I
with
said to you? You
What?
can only see yourself in other people.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I see extraordinary beauty.
It's in you too, please.
Thank
You
you.
could not see it in another person if you didn't have it in yourself. Believe me.
Well, we appreciate the beauty that encapsulates this
Well,
moment.
I've really enjoyed being...
Can we do it again?
Yes, of course you can do it
This
again.
has been
I'll
wonderful.
enjoy it again.
We love you.
Lovely.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, because in 10
what a-
minutes I'm going to have this...
No, we've
quarter of
we've
an hour.
come to the end of the podcast and the show, so I'm going to wrap us up. Jacqueline, thank you so much for everything. And
Well,
personally, I feel incredibly humbled in your company, and I know that our listeners will feel the same way. So go to our Facebook page and post all of your comments about how wonderful you think this podcast has been, as we have experienced pure beauty for the last
but
hour.
you see, the thing is that you can spread this. You can teach other people, and you do. Okay?
And we wanted to share you with them too.
Oh. Soon
So
this
humble.
body will be ashes.
But your higher self will continue.
Ashes to ashes and
Dust to dust.
And I see you as a big plus in my life, and a must.
Oh, isn't that right?
Oh, nice. I like that.
No.
So go to our Facebook.
I don't know. No, I'm not the person. If you thank anyone, he's the one to thank. He's the one who taught me everything.
And Jacqueline's pointing to a photo of Sai Baba.
Exactly. Now, some people don't like him. Some people criticize him. There's a good reason for it, of course, because he didn't give them what they wanted. It's really funny.
Well, you give us a beautiful perspective, and for that we thank you. Thank you, Sai Baba.
Oh, look, it was enjoyable. Yes, I'd love to be again, but I mean, we have to share and, contribute. Because that's really what it's about, isn't it? Mm-hmm. If I'm still alive, of course.
offer will come back before you go to Ashes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
So let us know your thoughts about today's podcast. Let us know what your experience has been as we've had this wonderful conversation with Jacqueline. Go to our Facebook page at allthews.facebook.com/up for a chat. You can also post your comments at allthews.thewellnesscouch.com/up for a chat. And join us here next week on Up for a Chat and become part of the ripple effect that's changing the world. See you on the ride.
This has been a production of TheWellnessCouch.com. Check us out on Facebook and join in the conversation on Facebook.com/TheWellnessCouch. Subscribe to each show on iTunes and check us out on Twitter. The Wellness Couch, streaming wellness into your lives. Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.